Hello? Can anyone hear me? Is anyone picking this up? This is a distress signal. Please, whatever you do, don't save us.
This broadcast baffled all of us. To clarify, I work at a radio tower on the eastern coast of Norway, and this distress signal came out of nowhere. I know I'll sound delusional, but what I'm telling you now is the truth of what happened. You can believe me or not, but whatever you do, at least see it as a warning. After receiving the broadcast, we immediately tried to locate the source of the signal. It was actually not far off the coastline, which was surprising because we identified the signal as coming from a British Victoria-class submarine used for scientific research by marine biologists. The extraordinary part was that the water is way too shallow in the location of the source for any kind of submarine, especially one of that size. So there's no way that the submarine even got to that location under usual circumstances. All three of us noticed it, but Håvard was the first to suggest to investigate the location for ourselves. Of course, Sven and I immediately protested and wanted to inform the police and the government, even though we were very curious as well. But he replied that they wouldn't believe that a British submarine had somehow made it all the way through the shallow water. Besides, the nature of the distress signal also doesn't really support the story. Oh yeah, I should probably explain who the others are. We are 3 men working at this radio tower. Håvard is a very extroverted, tall Norwegian. I'd say he's in his mid-30s. I haven't been here for long yet, so I don't know for sure. Besides, it's not like it matters here. Meanwhile, Sven is a rather introverted but very bulky and strong Swede. You could often mistake him for a concrete wall, both in robustness and in how talkative he is. Anyway, not knowing any better, Sven and I finally gave in and started to get the boat ready. We have a small motorboat on a little wooden pier next to our radio tower. We also agreed to take a handheld radio with us, in case we would receive another signal from the submarine. Looking back, I really don't know why we just didn't register the last part of the first message. It didn't take long to get to the location of the supposed submarine, but there was nothing. I mean, can never be that easy, can it? Luckily, I remembered that we also brought some old sonar gear that Håvard found on eBay a couple of months back, I think. We might need it one day, he had reasoned. Well, he was right after all. As we were setting it up, we surprisingly received another signal. It sounded so eerie and disturbing, like we were listening to someone dying.
Please, tell my wife I love her. I don't know where we are. Everything is dark. but it has to be. I think that's it. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Adams are already gone. So is my crew. Don't let our sacrifice be in vain. Captain Harvey signing out. God save the Queen.
We tried to reach anyone on the other end, but no one answered. We all looked at each other, confused, and not really affirmed in our plan. Right at that moment, Hava got the sonar to work. I believe we just tried to suppress the message we just heard at that point, or we hadn't comprehended it yet. So we scanned the ground, but found nothing. No signs of any kind of submarine, or even any metal, steel parts on the ground. There was just one minor detail I noticed after the sonar scan was complete. Right below us, the scan showed that there was one tiny point where the seafloor was far deeper than the rest. First we thought it might be a glitch on the screen, which of course can happen very often. It was just too much of a coincidence that it was the exact location where the first signal originated from. But it was already getting dark, so we decided to drive out again in the morning and do another scan to see if it was actually a glitch. A part of me really wanted it to be a glitch at this point, because I was starting to be creeped out. I'm sure Havar and Sven were as well, but we didn't stop continuing our plan. God, I wish we had. When we returned the next day, the sonar image, unfortunately, hadn't changed. At least we brought scuba gear with us to check it out, because at this point, our curiosity had overpowered the unease we felt before. Sven stayed up on the boat while Hova and I started our descent into the vast ocean below us. And what we found, they completely turned modern science on its head. The little dot on the sonar image was actually a tiny hole in the ocean floor. Not in a rock on the ocean floor, in the entire ocean floor. My arm hardly fit in it, but as far as I was able to tell, it was at least a couple of meters deep, if not tens or hundreds of meters. Even when shining a lamp into it, we just couldn't see any kind of end. We relayed the information to Sven, and that we would come up again to think of a new plan. But just at that moment, the hole, or rather, the whole ground just opened up like I can't explain it. Like the ground was alive. Then an unnaturally strong current erupted from within the giant opening, and Havar and I were pulled down into the animalistic stone maw.